Hi, you're watching Zeenia Satti. I request my subscribers to subscribe to this channel because I have been blocked out of my own channel, Zeenia Satti channel, and till such time as I can get back in, there seems to be some sort of sabotage. Till I've sorted the matter out and I'm back, I will be vlogging on this channel. As usual, I'm going to talk about the Israeli war in Gaza, and after about 19 days of making no headway whatsoever and looking really bad and committing war crimes during their ground invasion, today, during the last 24 hours, Israelis have accelerated their military action, and whatever the news coming out about that, there will be times when Israel is up, there'll be times when Hamas is up. That is inevitable in this sort of war. But the important thing is the long-term consequences to Israel of what Hamas did on the 7th of October. And out of those long-term consequences, I'm going to talk about two. Number one, the narrative, the global narrative, that Israel has no right to self-defense against a territory it holds under belligerent occupation, that is, it holds it by force, is now the dominant political narrative all over the world. So Israel's war crimes cannot be excused as Israel's right to self-defense. Number two, the war crimes case against Israel is now nearly ready. The government of Netanyahu, the state of Israel, will most definitely be prosecuted in the International Criminal Court. I have absolutely no doubt about it. And because the evidence against them is so overwhelming, there is definitely going to be a conviction. So whatever the Netanyahu government does and the IDF does from now onwards, they are going to have to do it under this notion that they will be convicted in the war crimes tribunals. Number three, the dominant narrative all over the world about Israel is that of apartheid, that it is an apartheid state. There is now an anti-apartheid movement all over the world, and Israel is the new Botha regime of this movement. And just like the Botha regime in South Africa during the last days of the apartheid in South Africa, Israel is trying to tackle the Hamas problem by invading its neighbors. Botha also tried to tackle the domestic black population's growing demand and growing militaristic demand for end to apartheid by raiding neighbors along South African borders. Because of the occupation of Namibia, they had access to Angola, they invaded Mozambique. And another similarity here is, just like the apartheid regime of South Africa tried to exploit the US fear of communism, because Cuba helped Angolans to some extent, Israel is trying to play on the Western fear of terrorism by calling Hamas a terrorist organization, when Hamas is simply carrying out the defense of its helpless population of Gaza. And Israel is killing civilians and killing children and bombing hospitals and committing crimes of the kind that define terrorism. And another similarity is that in 1986, just before the South African apartheid regime ended, some 2,500 South African soldiers died in their military activity. And this is more than the US death toll in Vietnam in per capita terms. In 1 year, this was more than the US lost its soldiers in Vietnam. So they incurred a lot of deaths, and that is exactly what the Israeli military is incurring to itself now. These are the three aspects of this war which are irreversible. The fact that Israel is known as the apartheid regime, and there will be a worldwide anti-apartheid movement with Israel as its target. Number 2, right to self-defense argument will not hold. And number 3, Israel is headed for war crimes tribunal. As far as the end of this war is concerned, now the longer Israel keeps up its military activity, the more the chance that Israel's own survival will be at stake. Also, this war, if it spreads in the region, it is going to engulf the countries that lie to the north, the south, the east, and the west of Kaaba. It will spread throughout the Middle East. But it won't just be a war in which the states of the Middle East are active. It will be a war in which the big powers are also engulfed. So China, Russia, and United States of America will also start playing a role. So this is a war that could be a precursor to a third world war. The big powers will have to take action in the matter of this war in a wise and mature manner. And as far as Israel is concerned, United States of America can constrain Israel. UN can also be activated. The Security Council can be activated against Israel. But if not, Israel will die of the very violence that begot Israel. This is likely to be the end of Israel. You're watching Zeenia Satti. Please subscribe to this channel. I'll be back with more commentary on this war.